a very warm and humid week 2 update for you. Hope you guys are doing well. I hope that if it's summer where you are, that you like summer. Hi, I'm very warm. And I'm going to try to do this without giggling, but Hunter is making faces at me in the window. So, first of all, thank you to every single one of you who sent well wishes and asked me if I was getting better. Remember the week 1 update, I said, oh, I think I'm on the upswing, but you know, I've been on the upswing 2 other times, and then woke up the next day and, oh boy, twice as bad as I was to begin with. Yeah, that happened again. But I am definitely getting better. My sinuses are killing me, that is the humidity and whatnot. But I'll tell you what, you guys, allergies will do weird things to your body. I've never ever been that. I mean, I was sick, I was dizzy and nauseous and kept tipping over and very scary stuff, like not normal allergy stuff, but Flonase seems to be doing the trick. I don't understand, but I'm gonna go with it because it's working. So anyway, thank you all so much for your kind words and your well wishes and telling me to make sure the frat boys and Mike take it easy on me. They have been. They really have been. So week 2 update. Honestly, not a whole lot went on in here during week 2 because I was still so sick. So not a whole lot to show you, but I'm gonna show you anyway. One thing I will say is having those blank pages in between each week is affording me space that, like, the first week I used it all up. Last week I didn't because I just was not doing a whole lot of anything but being a potato on the couch and trying to get well. So not a whole lot of that space got used up. The nice thing is I can go back and use it up. If I want to doodle or whatever, I can go back and use it. The other thing I was fiddling with is my lists and my project pages that are back here. I always have those in my planner, always. And I really have been considering taking them out. Now, I've taken them out before and have ended up wanting them when I was working while I was out and about and not having them, which is frustrating. It's one of those things that I could put them in Evernote. I could put a checklist, you know, for each little thing into a note in Evernote and be done with it. It would be very easy. But again, there is something about having it on paper, just my brain. So I have put them in and taken them out probably 3 or 4 times in the last week. I honestly, the thickness of the book, just the way it feels in your hand, you know what I mean? I know it's a personal preference thing, and for me it changes. So one week I'll be like, oh, it just feels too chunky. A couple days later I'll be like, oh, I want my lists back in there, so I put them back in. It's just, and part of it's just because I've been sick, so I've just been finicky about everything. So I'm kind of debating on actually not turning the camera around. You know what, I'm going to turn the camera around just so you guys can see. Please keep up the wonderful job you guys are all doing posting your updates. It is fantastic. I am picking up so many little tips and tricks from watching your weekly updates. They're awesome. So keep it up, please. Just make sure, as always, you know, hashtag OneBookJuly2015 so we can find you, okay? And if you haven't done it yet, go check out the Facebook page as well for One Book July. But you're all doing a fantastic job. I'm having a field day, and thank you for continuing your videos because you're giving me something to watch while I get better. So I'm definitely feeling better now. Liam is making faces out the window at me. So I'm gonna flip this around and finish recording so he can come out. He's waving, hi baby. So you guys take it easy. If it's hot where you are, stay cool. If it's cool where you are, I hope you can stay warm. And those guys are high-fiving and fist bumping and making faces at me. That's Liam's new obsession. For all of you Liam fans out there, his new obsession is making faces, and he has labeled, so there's a mommy face and a daddy face and a Liam face, and they're all these different very odd faces. Kids are so goofy. So you guys have a great week 3 and keep showing us what you're doing. Okay, thanks so much. Alrighty, I don't know what my gravity issues are with this camera lately. It's not the camera, it's the tripod. I'm still figuring it out. Oh, I think that's, if you can hear the beeping, I think that might be a couple of the older boys coming home. They went to get haircuts. So this is how the personal Mr. Darcy and buttered rum is looking. It is starting to get like this awesome little light spot right here. And if you guys can see the texture in there, I know I hadn't shown you guys this up close last week. I had like a fourth of a brain when I recorded the week 1 update, you guys. If you can kind of see like the wrinkles and whatnot in there, several of you guys had asked in the very first week to see this up close, and I forgot to show you because I was not well. So, and honestly, to get that really kind of crinkled. You see the crinkly look to it? I roll the heck out of this leather. I did it to my black one. I did it to my personal burgundy one, or my pocket size burgundy one, and I've done it to this one. And I have several times just emptied everything out and just, you know, rolled it all up. So empty it out, lay it flat so it's open, and then just roll it from one side to the other, roll it up in like a tube. I do take it easy on the corners, by the pockets, the stitching, all that, but I do roll the heck out of it, you know, give it like this little S wave. I roll it from bottom to top, top to bottom, and then I flip it over so that this outside is up, and I roll it the opposite direction, every which way, corner to corner, diagonally, and that is how I personally got a lot of that texture to come out. It just puts a little bit of wear in there. If I'm understanding you guys, I am not a leather expert at all. But I know Jennifer had said in one of her videos, that's how she kind of, you know, breaks down the fibers in a stiffer piece of leather. And this wasn't like overly stiff, at least to my feeling, okay? Wasn't overly stiff. I don't mind, you know, some days I kind of want a notebook that's really super floppy. So if, you know, I haven't right now because it's one book July, so if that's the case, I'll put everything into a creme brulee. You know, if I want something that's feeling really firm, you know, I'll pick one of my different leathers. So, and that's just a personal thing, you know, that just depends on how you feel. This is starting to get some little scratches and whatnot in it. That's what the leather is supposed to do. It's supposed to show its wear. It's been in and out of my bag a couple of times. Hasn't been hauled around as much as usual just because, like I said, I was kind of being a lump for a while there. So that is the close-up for all of y'all who had asked, because I forgot to do it last week. As far as inside goes, not a whole lot has changed. In order to put, remember I was talking about putting that blank book in here, which you guys were also awesome. I made a really big deal, not intending to, about, oh, is it cheating if I add another insert? You know, I'm the one who's always online telling people, oh no, you're not cheating. You know, the rules are loose. They're open to interpretation. And then here I get on my video and unintentionally made this big deal out of whether or not I was cheating. Okay, boys are home. 1 second, I'll be right back. Okay, sorry, I had to say hi real quick. They just got back from getting haircuts. So, but yeah, I unintentionally made a big deal out of, am I cheating or not? So I apologize for that. But everybody was really awesome. Like, hey, is this supposed to be about figuring out what you want to carry with you? And like I said, for me, the challenge has been getting everything I want in one place. Because I had compiled so many books. I went on this hardcover Moleskine kick like in March, April. I don't know why. Part of it was because of school stuff. And I just ended up like they were like bunny rabbits or tribbles. They just kind of kept multiplying. And I need everything in one spot. I do not need to compartmentalize as much as I do. Because my brain likes to compartmentalize. There's nothing wrong with that. For me, I can only do it to an extent and I start to stress myself out. And that's totally the opposite of what we're trying to do with a planning system, right? So, this last week, I wasn't using my lists and my planning pages a whole lot because I was being such a lump. This is all, you know, website stuff and YouTube stuff and blog stuff and work stuff and book stuff and, you know, the big checklist stuff. And, you know, I wasn't using it. And this insert came from Chic Sparrow. This is just the blank, kind of textured insert. And I wanted to put this in here. At the time, like now I have it all in here, it's not bothering me in the slightest. At the time it was like, oh, it just feels a little bit too thick. And I think part of that was that I wasn't using this at all last week, just because I was just trying to recuperate. So I wasn't looking at any of the YouTube stuff or the blog stuff or the work stuff or, you know, any of that. I was just trying to get better. So I felt like I was toting this around the house with this insert in it for no reason. Okay, and that's not what I want to do. My other thing that I haven't been using a whole lot, just because last week was kind of a quiet week, but we are ramping up, so I'm going to be needing it again, is my monthly calendars. I love this monthly calendar setup. Again, these are from Marsha Bermucci on Etsy. We're coming up to, you know, it'll be what, 5-6 weeks till school starts. So those dates for things for the kids, you know, open house and registration and all those dates are kind of starting to trickle in. And one of the boys, Jack, is moving from elementary school to middle school. So he especially has some extra band stuff going on, an open house so he can walk his schedule and all that good stuff. Hunter's already at that middle school, so that'll help. But still, those are kind of extra dates that we don't have. Hunter has band camp, Jack has a separate band camp, so those dates I already have, but stuff into September and whatnot is going to start trickling in here probably now through the end of July, just for school activities. So I don't dare take these out. Putting them in the middle of this folder is not my favorite thing to do, to be honest with you. The folder can accommodate it. Like I told you guys before, this is a personal size folder from Annika Hanby on Etsy. Absolutely my go-to folder person now, you guys. I don't know if I will ever make another one of my own again, because why, when Annika's so good at it? So I do prefer to not use the folder as a cover. But I did find that without a folder, I remember I had made a bunch of folders and then I did take them out. These covers were so pretty, I didn't want to cover them up with a folder anyway. I didn't need, you know, 2, 3, 4 folders with all the pockets. I have pockets here, I've got pocket back here, you know, I've got spare pockets here. So I didn't need a bunch of folders, but I do find just with like the extra stuff that, you know, Mike will give to me, like stuff from the clinic, you know, I do all the bills and the bank stuff, the grocery shopping. We're starting to kind of gear up for getting back to school stuff. So any coupons I'm finding, I'm grabbing. So having the extra pockets rather than me cramming all of that like back in here, like I was doing, at least one folder up here is kind of a must. That I have definitely learned in the last couple weeks. Just because all the little things are gonna start piling up. And I did start putting coupons and like checks that Mike needed me to deposit and, you know, checks from my work stuff. I was sticking it all in here, plus some cash because the zipper pouch was just bulking things up too much in here and driving me crazy. I had so much stuff crammed in here and back in here, and it was just really uncomfortable. It just didn't feel right. The nice thing about the folders is with the top pocket up here, I can put checks in there, I can put cash in there, and I'm not worried about losing them. I was putting some of them back here and I was worried about losing the checks. So when I was carrying them in my pocket size with Annika's folders, I really got in the habit of putting checks back here, receipts from the bank here, you know, coupons and whatnot in either one of these pockets, grocery lists I can tuck back there or put here. I had a nice little wallet system going in there that was working, so I kind of copied it into here, okay? So that's why, yes, I have plenty of pockets. If I didn't have, it's the stuff for Mike that tends to pile up. It's the little bits and pieces. Preseason hockey has already started for him. Yes, it's July and preseason hockey has already started. So they've got prospect camp and whatnot, and then, you know, a lot of on the road stuff coming up pretty darn shortly. So he's just got all these little bits and pieces stuff I have to, you know, we kind of both try to keep track of to make sure that he has, so he's ready when he has to go on a road trip. There's not a big scramble. And just stuff from the clinic during the off season. He works at a clinic, and so checks from patients from there, they just kind of multiply because those are daily, you know. So if you have paper that you're processing on a daily basis, like checks, they have to go somewhere. So putting that with the coupons and everything else all back in here was just too much. So I went ahead and got a personal size folder from Annika so I could use the same exact setup that I was using in my pocket size. The other nice thing is this pocket, the 2 pockets on the folder here, they're not split up into 2 separate pockets. So let me pop this out of here. If you guys have Annika's folders, you know this, but for those of you who haven't seen, and it honestly never occurred to me to show this to you before, pop it out nicely, hopefully. There we go. See these 2 top pockets? They run the length of the folder, but see how they're not separated? It's one big pocket. So I could feasibly take a large piece of paper and stick it back in there, just like the ringed binders that have that extra pocket on the outside to go on the top, and then it would just fold right there. So it's either 2 separate pockets or 1 large pocket. That was my other reason for keeping a folder up here. Okay, long story short, too late, I know. Having this has helped the wallet set up a lot. So I'm definitely glad that I put that in there, and I'm definitely keeping it. My monthly pages, I know maybe for the next week or 2 I'm not really gonna need a whole lot. I don't need them for July because I always, for the current month, have, you know, my DIY fish calendar, see? So I only use my monthly calendar for future planning. And like I said, I'm hesitating to take it out because of, I know those dates are gonna start trickling in anytime now. So I really don't wanna take those out and need them. That will frustrate the heck out of me. When I did take them out, I was like, okay, that'll take a little bit of bulk out. And it's not very bulky, you guys. It was just kind of me and the day I was having, I think. You know, those are things that I can make notes of in here in my bullet journal. So, hey, don't forget, you know, this date at this time, this kid has this. And, you know, as long as I make sure that I mark them or highlight them, or I'll use like a little loop arrow like that, that to me says, hey, you know, you need to migrate this. Or make it a task, and when I've migrated it, I put like a little, like a loop like that. I can't describe it to you. I don't think I have any on here. I don't have any on here for this week. So that I know I migrated that to where it belongs. So that's an option. The second that I did take these out one day, I then had to reschedule 3 of the kids' checkouts. Like into August, so that I had to go digging them back out. So I'm like, okay, that decision's been made for me. They're staying. So that's a lot of babbling. Sorry guys, it's very, very warm. I feel like my brain is boiling a little bit. But I think I have most of it back, so I'm not going to complain. This setup is going beautifully. Last week, not a whole lot really got done. There was all this stuff that I migrated forward to this week, and I did a bunch of it this morning just because I was just so darn sick. So this thing I had written, actually I wanted on Monday, not on Sunday. So that was pretty much all the bullet journal contained last week. Lots and lots and lots of trying to take it easy, and I'm going to move this Post-it note while I'm thinking of it, because I got to do that later today. My blank pages in between, I didn't even use all up. Here was last week, and then here are some of my blank pages. I sketched my Tabitha bag one night when I felt really crummy and I couldn't sleep, and then after the fact realized I had grabbed a pencil to do it. I couldn't sleep, but I was so darn tired. So I was just sitting at my desk doodling, and I got that all done and thought, oh, I wasn't supposed to use pencil, shoot. But I couldn't throw it away. It's definitely not the best drawing like ever in the world, but oh, love that bag. I'll have to do a video and show you guys that bag. And then here are just a little bit of doodling that I did, and these are all blank. I did not use them at all, which is fine, because you know what, if I feel like going back and watercoloring something or doodling something, they're not going to be, I don't like to watercolor, that's another thing I learned, on these pages right next to my bullet journal, because I will inevitably forget, and I'll watercolor on the back of one of the pages I intended to use for bullet journal that may be blank at the time, and it just, I don't know what I'm doing, basically, when it comes to watercoloring. I have no clue. So I will use too much water or something and get the paper kind of funky. So I like to try to keep this as clean as possible and need to be able to read it, right? That's everything going on. And that's pretty much it. Now, this coming week, yeah, look at this coming week, you guys. I held onto this. This was cut out from the same article that I showed you guys in last week's update. Where did I put it? From Wired magazine about summer reads. Hunter and I are both going to be reading Armada. It comes out tomorrow, Tuesday, woohoo! So this I'm gonna put in, I paper clipped it in for now. It's gonna go in one of my blank pages, but I wanted to see, you know, what else I might wanna do in those blank pages. I really, really like having the blank pages there for notes on videos that I wanna get recorded that week, rather than keeping those back here. That has kept this section, like, pretty much lists. It's all project stuff, but it's lists. It's like the steps, or like the list of videos I want to record, or, you know, steps that I need to get done to finish a particular project. Okay, that's what each tab is. It's either a project in and of itself, or like it's a list of videos, a list of exams to code, whatever the case may be. But a lot of times I would burn through these notebooks really fast, just for like notes on videos. I would keep those in with that section, and before I knew it, I was through and, you know, bumping up against the next list and needed more room. So then I would move the tab back to more blank pages. That would be where I'd go through the book first, and then I'd be out of room. And I would need room for more lists, right? So I'd end up recopying everything into another book, and it just feels like a lot of wasted space. I don't need to keep the notes for those videos for as long as this project book is gonna last me. So having the blank pages in here has been great, because this is where notes for videos can go. And you guys will probably be very happy to know that now that I feel as though I'm getting my brain back, there is another What's Your Why Not video. Should be up this week. I'm just about done. There is another Evernote series video about your Evernote email address. That should also be up this week. And I am almost done finding all of the links for the What's on My Phone video, because there is a link for each app. I don't want to leave anybody out. And that's just taking forever to put together. So that should be up. I'm hoping when I say up by this week, I would like to have the What's Your Why Not video done by like Tuesday, Wednesday-ish. I would love to have the Evernote done by maybe Thursday, Friday-ish. And the What's on My Phone one, hopefully by Saturday, Sunday-ish. So it kind of depends on the kids. Depends on how the kids are doing and how much we get out of here and go do stuff. So so that is what that looked like. Not a whole lot. I'm loving using these little tape flags. These are the ones from Semicolon. I got the little booklet of them on Amazon. They come, like, that's the order they come in. And again, I left it in the house, but it's one of those little, you just fold it. It's like got a really heavy little kind of case that it's in basically, and it just folds open and it's only that wide. So I'm loving those. I wrote on these I started using them right at the beginning of June. Because these are things like Hunter has band, one week it's like Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then the following week it's Wednesdays and Fridays. The 2 days that he has it changes every other week, or every week. So I have moved these tape flags since like the second week of June. So I've been moving these for a month, and they're still sticking wonderfully. Same with these, like the orangey yellow ones. I've been moving those since the second week of June, and they still stick so great. So I thumbs up to those because they are awesome. So, and that is it. I have not done anything else. In fact, even on today, I've been running around trying to catch up and clean and, you know, try to do, Jack and I are making a list of stuff that we can go do. So we're kind of in the middle of working on that. I've done so much stuff today that I just didn't bother writing down doing. That's okay, it got done. That's all I care about at this point. And then lastly, I did put the blank notebook in. Thank you so much for all of you who reminded me that that is not cheating. I'm so sorry I made it come off as a bigger deal than it really was. But yeah, I'm gonna try to make some time later on tonight to just kind of sit down and doodle in here a little bit. I think if I go too much right after being this sick, I'm gonna run myself right into the rut again. It's challenging. I know I have some immune system issues, and every once in a while they flare up and rear their ugly head, and that has been what's been going on this last week. And it's something as silly as allergies can kick me over the edge like that. It drives me crazy. But makers of Flonase, hey, 2 thumbs up for you guys. You're awesome. So that is pretty much it. Everything else is the same. Loving those blank pages in between. I don't know if it's because I've been sick or what, but the fact that I didn't use all these up, like this is all the blank pages from last week, right at this moment is seriously not bothering me. And that is normally something that would bother me because I hate wasting paper, but I kind of feel like, you know what? I know I'm not going to end up wasting that paper. I'll just go back and use it for stuff. So I can doodle in there, I can do a little bit of watercoloring in there, and do a little bit of Zentangling in there maybe. You know, notes on stuff. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the same exact week if it's a note on something I read, let's say, or, you know, a TED Talk I watched, or a podcast I listened to. It doesn't necessarily have to be within the week that I watched it or read it or listened to it. As long as I, you know, page flag that stuff, I'm finding I'm pretty good about catching it, at least during my weekly review. And I left, like this one, this is stuff for the next What's Your Why Not video. That's why I left the page flag on there. I don't want to forget it's there, so that as I'm kind of making my notes, I'm just about done actually, that I remember that there was stuff in here that I definitely wanted to tell you guys. And when I'm all done with that, I'll take that off there. So that is it. That is it, you guys. Kind of a boring update because, like I've said 1,000 times, I apologize, but whew, sick brain. So we're kind of catching up now. You guys, please keep it up. You're all doing a fantastic job. I love hearing what you guys are learning, what you're enjoying. I even enjoy hearing what you guys are not enjoying about One Book July, because that still means you're learning something. And that's why I love this challenge. It's hello, Mr. Ant. It's a nice kind of an open challenge so that you can tailor it to what it is you're trying to figure out. But yet you can still learn from it. And a lot of times when a challenge is really open to interpretation, you end up not learning a whole lot from it. At least that's been my experience. So this has been really great to see what all you guys are doing, and you know, how you're kind of you know, cutting back on this stuff basically for a month. So keep it up. You guys are doing a great job. I will talk to you before the next update, I'm sure. I'm gonna get those videos up this week, but otherwise I'll be back next week with week 3 update. Okay, thanks so much, guys. Bye-bye.